Good morning, everybody. Mobile, Alabama. We're going to go to the Oakley house, do some filming. And it's a beautiful Saturday for some filming. And got some little surprises for you, some historic buildings. And it's just going to be a little short day trip, but happy Saturday, everybody. Having the staircase outside is absolutely amazing. How cool is that?
Yeah, the spiral staircase is also a way that you can tell that it's pretty primitive.
Yeah, you don't normally see things like this. No, you don't. You really don't.
Now, if the downstairs for storage, these steps are not having
What's up, everybody? I wanted to show you, I'm in Mobile, Alabama now. The Oakley house is over there, but I wanted to show you some of this stuff right here, these historic houses. And this is why I come to Mobile, Alabama. I mean, this is absolutely amazing. Look at this, these houses and historic houses. I mean, look at that. All down through here. Absolutely beautiful. And then we're going to walk over to the Oakley house. And I come to Alabama about once a month, Mobile. The traffic was kind of crazy coming in because it's a Saturday, but you want to come during the week because less traffic. And look at this house right here. This is absolutely gorgeous. Look at that. The trees and everything. Beautiful. And we're going to walk over here to the Oakley house. And there it is. This is absolutely gorgeous. Look at this. I mean, it's I'm going to show you a little bit of this right here. So the Oakley started in 1833 by James Roper. On a Spanish land grant. Oakley was named for the magnificent oaks around it. I mean, obviously. And elegant parlors, stairway, the outside stairwell, that's what I want to see. And it was acquired by the city of Mobile in 1955, and it's operated as a museum. Historic Mobile Preservation Society. It reflects the antebellum life in the city. So, yeah, let's walk up here, man. Let's see. You know, I've been to Savannah and I've been to St. Augustine. Nothing really touches Mobile. Just, you know, and look at this. This is absolutely amazing. There it is, historic Oakley. Take another picture of it. All right. Okay, so the next tour starts in about 20 minutes. So we're going to walk around the grounds real quick and show you this gorgeous. This house is just absolutely amazing. Oh my God. And of course I got my ghost tank shirt on, so they're probably kind of looking at me, you know. And look at this, man. This is gorgeous. And look over here, there's a little garden over here. Look at that, man. That's really cool. And, absolutely gorgeous. Walk around this side right here. Look at the oak trees. Wow. Alright, we're starting the tour right now. So.
Designed it. He was an architect. And there's some like things in the house you can see that he was kind of off because this wasn't his main profession. So you can see that he wasn't like 100% exactly. They say bricks, and then he would have, you know, people, brick masons, go burn them in the oven that he owned downtown. And it was assumed that a lot of the bricks he used to make this house, and maybe he even sold them to make a lot of the houses that you see here. And then the second reason that he bought this house is that there were a lot of plants here. So his gardener, William Ayres, advertised them in the newspaper. And so this was another way that he could make some profit. So this house was actually outside of the city limits. So all the houses that you see here would not have been there. And if the trees weren't so high, you could have seen straight to the bay if you were to stand on the porch.
This having the staircase outside is absolutely amazing. How cool is that?
Yeah, the spiral staircase is also a way that you can tell that it's pretty primitive.
Yeah, you don't normally see things like this. No, you don't. You really don't.
Now, if the downstairs was storage, these steps were not
You can see by this is the original front door, the original door knocker, and the original doorbell, which will show you how that works inside in a minute. And the door was a status symbol at the time. However big your door was, that was how rich you were. You know, so you wanted everybody to know that you had a huge door and you were very wealthy. So this would have been where everyone entered. All the guests entered up these stairs and into the door. You can also see, if you look up, the ceiling is painted, which is unusual, and that color is haint blue, which haint is a southern word for haunt, and so they think that it would keep the ghost away from your home if you painted the outside ceiling that color. It also keeps bugs away, so hornets won't make nests, bees won't go up there, because they think it's the sky. So, you know, they don't want to build a nest on the sky, so keeps
Out of it.
Oh, wow.
So even, you know, hundreds of years ago, there was still, you know, hurricanes and tornadoes. So what they did to prevent any of the trees from falling.
free to use the doorbell as you come in.
That is awesome. That's so cool. Oh my God, look at this. I got a dual film now. Oh my God, look at this. Wow.
System. So when you pull it from the outside and push it back in, it rings.
That is so cool.
That's neat.
So this is the first room that everyone would have entered in the home. And keep in mind, this was out in the country, so you would have had to drive a far way to get here from downtown where most people lived. So there's a bunch of mirrors that you can, you know, the ladies can freshen up, make sure they're not dirty or windblown from the car right here. There's even, they can check, make sure they're not showing their ankles.
Rooms in the house. And this would be where Roper had a lot of his business meetings. So, you know, typically back then they would be smoking something. So this is a little cigar holder. It opens up like that. And it's just to keep them fresh, basically. But I bet they probably went through them so fast that they probably didn't even need that. So one way that you can tell that Roper didn't really know what he was doing when he was building this house, if you look directly like at these windows, you can see that this one on the right is really shifted over to the right, while that one is more centered. It's just something small, but you wouldn't notice it unless someone pointed it out. So again, Roper's main job was to be a lawyer.
I'm from Athens, Alabama, and many of our homes, you know, was burned. You know, there's a lot of battles around that area. But how did she save this one from being
So she
burned?
put a Union Jack flag, like a neutral, like the British flag, over the railing, so that when the soldiers came, they thought, oh, she's neutral.
Nobody else.
Yeah, she's not with the Confederates. 73 pieces. It's a pretty large set. And this peach color is one reason it's so rare. It's really hard to find and to make. And then this also just represents a little cotton ball on top. And if you look at the bottom of the cup, you can see that it's actually like stamped. You can just pass that around with like the Mobile stamp.
That is really cool. This is amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Really got gothic stories, but he actually wrote a love letter to one of this lady right here. Her name is Octavia Levert, and she never actually lived in the house, but she was a really big icon of the South. And so the guitar you see that is in that picture, it's not the one that's over there, but looks pretty similar. So it was rumored, when you were getting your portrait done, it was supposed to be something in the portrait was supposed to be something that you like. So we assumed that she liked instruments, probably the guitar, but she actually hated this portrait of herself. One, because she was smiling. Typically in a lot of paintings you never see, and in this room no one is smiling, and that's because they wanted the main focus of the portrait not to be their smile, but the portrait as a whole. And then the second reason is that they had really bad dental care, so I'm just like, don't show your teeth.
Don't smile. So Edgar Allan Poe wrote her a letter.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is actually the letter right here. And it didn't actually get shown out until the public, until his son released it. So.
Oh, wow.
I believe he met her at a party one night in Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
I feel like I've heard that. And he was just so smitten with her that
Yeah, that's crazy.
he wrote her a love letter.
What a small world. That's nuts. That is so cool.
So after Roper gave the house to Denison, he eventually sold it to the next family, which was the Irwin family. So this is Margaret Irwin, and she was born in the state of Oakley, because during the time of the Civil War, the soldiers would typically come down here and try to seize those houses to use for running supplies or just office space. And since this was one of the largest houses down here, this is obviously when they would want. The calling card that I was taught, the holder, it's actually made out of a material called mother of pearl, which is like today's diamond, and it's actually made out of the shell of an oyster, so that's why they call it mother of pearl.
So this person built Oakley, James Roper.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, wow. Oh. Now you're talking.
Yeah. I should have warned you, my bad.
It's because the guest didn't see this.
Been dying. And so this is Corinne, Irwin's room, and she died 2 weeks before her wedding.
Oh,
And so
good Lord.
what did she die of?
She died of typhoid fever, so at first she believed the dress is cursed, so they got it blessed and by a preacher and stuff until they figured out it was typhoid fever on the dress.
And so there's different there's mourning jewelry over there, and it's made of human hair, and so when you would when their
right here.
when their mothers would brush their daughter's hair, they would get the hair and put it in one of those containers over there
I heard about
and
this.
keep it. And so after they died, they would use it. They would dip it in wax and make it out of
Yeah,
stuff.
right
So
there,
that's a generation hair wreath. That's all made out of hair. And that brooch right there is made out of hair too. And so
Hair of multiple people, and
a generation.
So instead of a family portrait, they would have a family hair wreath.
So that's Lee Irwin and then Thomas K. Irwin, or we call him T.K. Irwin. They both served in the army, I believe, and they were both injured. Which war?
Civil War.
The Civil War, okay. During the Civil War, and they actually ended up at the same hospital together, and one of them got shot in the hip, I believe, so he walked with a limp for the rest of his life. I don't know which one I don't remember exactly which one it was. And the other one, he didn't get in the neck, okay.
Yeah.
But they both survived, and then they became cotton.
They both worked in
They
cotton.
both worked in cotton. And T.K. Irwin married Millie.
Mary.
Oh, wait, Mary Ketchum?
Yes.
Okay, Mary Ketchum, but we call her Millie as a nickname. That's what she went by. And TK's mom was not very happy with this because Millie was an actress, so she was very promiscuous. That was very looked down upon. during that time, she would have wore dresses like this that showed her wrist and her ankles and even a cutout in the back so you could see part of her back. And she was said to be very, very dramatic. There's not a single picture of her where she's not posing. You can even see this casual family portrait. Everyone else is just, you know, normally placed, and she's still posing and
Hollywood.
looking at the camera.
Of them. We also have a lace baby cap that was used by the Irwin family in that box, and the Irwin family baby cup.
Now, is that her in the picture here?
Yes, that's another picture of her, and another picture of TK. His pants were very poorly tailored.
Yes, they were.
His whole feet are covered by his pant legs.
Yes, they are. But this was hers.
But those were some of her things. We also have her lace maker. That's what's on the bed. One of her hobbies was making her own spools of lace. So she would have woven patterns over those pins. So we like to imagine she was a very patient woman. Because it would have taken a very long time to make a piece of lace that long. Had a woman come in one time who knew how to make lace with this fancy contraption, and she said it would have taken an hour to do 2 inches of lace.
Wow.
So, it only matters.
Was in the bedroom, the big master bedroom that we just showed y'all. And one night there were ghost hunters here in the house, and you know, they were looking around and all their gadgets and everything. And this music box started playing a Russian death march. And it has water damage, so it doesn't work. So it's impossible for it to play music, but it started playing that song randomly, and I believe it said like it wanted to be moved. Or
Ghost of Mariana Ketchum.
Okay.
Wanted it moved.
Yes.
Wow.
So we moved it in here and it hasn't played music since, but it's a fun little story.
I believe it. Trust me. Oh, that's really cool. And these right here play just one song. I've seen these Victrolas, so this is all
It's only one song per disc.
Yeah. So
Who lived here, they usually used it more as a guest room or another bedroom. But in this room, we talk about the next family that would live here at Oakley, and their pictures are up on this wall. That's the Denisons.
what time frame would this be?
So they moved into the home in 1925, and they lived here until 1943.
Okay.
And so originally Harold and Lillian, they were actually living in Bolivia, and that's where their 5 children were born. They had 3 sons, George, Robert, and Al, and they're all pictured together there on the front steps of Oakley. And that picture of them was taken in the 90s. And we also have their 2 daughters, Margaret and Helen, pictured there in the 3rd row. So this big family of 7, they're living in Bolivia. Harold had been importing American goods into Bolivia. But then they start to see some political unrest there, so they decide to leave and move back to the United States.
No? Okay. Well, anyways.
I don't know.
Okay. He really did not like pictures, and he would always refuse to take pictures, and his wife always wanted pictures of him. And right before he died, she finally convinced him to let her take pictures of him, or not take, but paint. Get an artist to paint pictures. And so she got the picture she always wanted, and then he passed away shortly after. But his eyes, when she got the painting back from the painter, his eyes were closed in it. So she didn't like that. So she had him promptly dug back up and propped up to take another picture with his eyes open. And you can see that he had been dead because of the discoloring on his fingers and his face.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So she got the last laugh.
Sure did. You will open your eyes and like it.
We also have this bust here of Henry Clay, right?
Yes, Henry
Okay.
Clay.
So he was an admirer of.
He was pen pals with Octavia.
Okay, he was pen pals with Octavia, and she ended up marrying a man that was named Henry. So she had a child with that man, and she named the baby Henrietta. Well, Henry Clay thought that was about him, and he thought that she was so in love with him that she named her child after him. So he sent her this bust of himself, and she kept it and displayed it in the house, I suppose.
Wow.
It's a little strange, but.
So this lovely lady up here, Suzanne Robinson Goodyear Gwynn Bacon Onstad. Miss Suzanne was married 4 times, and she lived here at Oakley with her second husband, Dr. Gwynn. And so she and Dr. Gwynn, they actually met at a party at the White House, and he was instantly taken with her. But she told him that if he wanted to marry her, then he had to move to Mobile, Alabama, because she just refused to leave the city. So that's exactly what he did. He left his friends and family living up north and moved down to Alabama to be with her. And so they get married and they moved to town, and they were living in a different home, but they went to a party one night and somebody at that party just kept talking about Oakley. So they drove over that night to come look at the home, and Suzanne just fell in love with the house. So they buy the house and move right on in. And so she starts putting in the work to fix the house back up. She wants it to be the social center of the city again. So she repairs what the church had done. She also is the one who installed the air conditioning in the home. So this wall that she's hanging on, she put up because it has the air ducts running through it. But originally this room was a little more than twice this size, and it was the formal dining room that the Denison family used. But she put this wall up for her air conditioning, and that's why we have our 50s paneling in here, because this is what she liked. This is what she put up. So it doesn't quite match the rest of the home. But she would live here until 1955. That was the year she and Dr. Gwynn divorced. And when they divorced, Suzanne was granted the home and she decided to sell. But rather than selling to another private owner, Suzanne sold the home to the city. And she did that with the stipulation that they make it a museum. So she's why we're still here today.
Awesome.
We've been open as a museum pretty much since the early 1960s. But she was very passionate about the city. She'd actually lived in Mobile for most of her life, up until she met her last husband, Mr. Onstad. And he was from Norway and owned a company that made cargo ships. So the two of them were so wealthy, they just had homes all over the world, and they got to live a little bit of everywhere. But he did name one of his cargo ships after her. He named it the Suzanne Onstad, and that ship was actually used as a prop in the 1976 King Kong movie. So the boat that carries King Kong into New York is the Suzanne Onstad.
That is awesome.
And you can even see her name in the movie. Fortunately, it is closed.
Wanted to show you all this real quick. We're wrapping up the tour, but these are some things around Mobile right here. And some of these, this building is downtown in Mobile right here. And the Battle House. There's the Battle House Hotel, and I've stayed there many times. Actually, twice I think I stayed there many times, but I've been in many hotels here. And there's the actual fire right there at the Battle House. So that thing was just gone. That thing was nothing left of it. And I think it had 2 or 3 fires. There's the Battle House thing right there. And there's the Trinity Church. I filmed that a little while ago. A couple years ago I filmed that church. And City Hall, so the Kennedy House, some things. So we're wrapping up, and there's look, another fireplace. So, all right. So there it is, Oakley Manor, and it did not disappoint. We're going to head over to the Cali Art Gallery now, and I'm going to show you what we're building. Shot on Suncoast Films. See you in a few minutes.